going on, world? DS1 Ross, and we back here on Sheep Stay Sleep TV. Shout out to everybody who support the platform. Much love, much love. Salute to everybody that's in the building. Salute to everybody that's in the building right now. Shout out to all of the visionaries, man. Salute, salute, salute. Salute. Much love to y'all. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure y'all hit the like button, family. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Y'all hit that like button. After y'all hit that like button, share the show. Share today's show. Share it on your community tab, your Discord servers, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, anywhere that y'all share content. Make sure y'all share this show. We're going to get into it today. Today, we are going to dispel a long-standing myth today. And this is a myth that a lot of us men grew up hearing. And of course, it was passed down through generations. And that's how it got to us. But today, we're going to get into it. So shout out to everybody that's here. Like I said, make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure y'all share today's show. Let me get over here to the chat room and give some shout out. Shout out to Queen of Jokey Cartel. Peace to you. I appreciate you. Shout out to my man Papa Flocka in the building. It's my sandbox brother right there. Salute. Appreciate your support, bro. Shout out to Sir O in the building. Shout out to the villains. Shout out to Juan G's in the building. The villains are in the building. Salute. Shout out to Shango Zulu in the building. Salute, salute. Shout out to Miss Letitia. Hey, what's good, Letitia? Good to see you. Shout out to Just Act Shaw in the building. Salute to you. Shout out. Anthony Touchstone in the building. What's good? What's good, my brother? Shout out to you. Shout out to Miss Lynette in the building. What's up, Lynette? King Ra. Salute, salute. Shout out to Miss Angie in the building. Shout out to Miss Angie. Always coming through and holding down the Chizat. Shout out to everybody that's in the building. Shout out to everybody that's in the clouds. Salute to y'all. Like I said, like and share the show. Like and share today's show. You see today's show. Fellas, this is why it's not cheaper to keep her. This is why it is not cheaper to keep her. Now, as I said, we all know growing up, shout out to Self-Improvement Channel in the building. We've always heard it's cheaper to keep her, it's cheaper to keep her, it's cheaper to keep her. Shit, a lot of us even grew up hearing that song, it's cheaper to keep her. I know I did. How many of y'all in the chat room, sound off in the chat room, if y'all grew up hearing that song, it's cheaper to keep her? I think the guy name is Johnny Taylor, who sing that song, it's cheaper to keep her. Antonio McCassick, salute, man. But sound off in the chat room and let me know if y'all grew up hearing that song. I grew up hearing it. I definitely grew up hearing it. So some of y'all did grow up hearing that song. It's cheaper to keep her. And I never knew what it meant when I was young. Like, it's cheaper to keep her. But as I got older and the more I heard the song and the environment I was around, I learned to understand what they were actually talking about. Shout out to my man Bob. Salute, Bob. Yeah, Johnny Taylor. Yeah, it's cheaper to keep her. And if anybody who's listening or who will be catching the broadcast on a playback, the song is basically about a man letting other men know that it's cheaper or it'll cost you less to just stay with her. And when I say stay with her, I'm talking about in a relationship, in a marriage, in a long-term relationship. It's cheaper to keep her. It's easier for you. You won't have to pay as much. Basically, what he's saying is it will cost you a lot less as a man financially to stay in the marriage than to leave. Than to stay in the relationship than to leave the relationship. But he's particularly talking about marriage. And I think it's very important that today we touch on this because who's hot? Who's the hot topic right now? Will Smith. Will Smith. Will. Everyone's talking about Will. Even I talked about Will. And Will actually inspired today's show because, as I said on yesterday's show, maybe Will should consider that it's not cheaper to keep her. I specifically said this on the show yesterday. And when I went back and I listened to it and I heard that, I said, that has to be tomorrow's show. That has to be tomorrow's show. Because not only high value men like a Will Smith, like a Dr. Dre, like a lot of guys who are considered high value, they go through this stuff. This is why when the high value narrative first hit the algorithm and people, they started talking about it. When I spoke on it, I immediately let everyone know who listens to my channel that the way that the high value man narrative was being taught, that it was dangerous to men. It was dangerous to men. See, and this is the problem that I've always had with the rhetoric of Kevin Samuels. It had nothing to do with him not helping nobody. It didn't have nothing to do with any of that. And I've said this time and time again. My problem with him is what he's teaching and how he's teaching it. He's teaching men in a toxic way. He's misleading brothers. He's not giving guys all of the information. And I get it because that's how you're able to monetize what you're doing. But at the end of the day, brothers are still going to be getting, they're still going to be getting fucked up out here. And that is the objective. The objective is to help brothers avoid that. Not to basically make men feel comfortable in allowing it. See, because this is what guys like Will Smith has been going through for years. He's been finding ways to feel comfortable with allowing himself to be done dirty. This is what the high value man narrative has created around here on the lower level. It has brought men to a level of acceptance that, hey, this is just what it's going to be. I'll just get married again. I'll just try again. I have enough money to lose again. I have enough time to lose again. I have enough energy to waste again. Because this is what life is about for me. You see? This is why the high value man narrative is dangerous. Because it's telling men to ignore how they feel about themselves. You see? It's telling men to make it all about her. You're only a man unless you're able to give her what she wants. If you can provide the life that she wants, then you are a man. And you're a high value man because you can provide it on a certain level. You can give her a certain quality of life that she desires. See? See, because as long as you can afford it, then she can get what she wants. You see? But if y'all are paying attention, where are you in the equation? When are you getting what you want? When are you going where you want to go? Where is the gratification for you? How were you fulfilled with your own resources? Are you living your best life with your resources? Or are you providing this woman who don't care shit about you the best life for her? You see? This is what I want you brothers to start thinking about. Because at the end of the day, what it boils down to is it boils down to internal value. That's what this all comes back to. It all comes back to you and how you see yourself and how you feel about yourself. It has nothing to do with your money. It has nothing to do with your education, your career, none of that shit. Because as you can see, the abuse is still the same. It's still the same. The abuse is still the same. It doesn't matter because you a six-figure guy, you a millionaire, you a business owner, you a movie producer. What does that mean, brothers? That doesn't mean shit. But y'all have allowed this narrative to make y'all think that y'all are exempt. See, I spoke about this a few years ago, and I let brothers know that what we're seeing now was going to come. That there were going to be high value men, quote unquote, high value men getting drugged through the mud. I said this because brothers need to see that shit don't mean nothing. The high value men are the men who think highly of themselves, who feel highly about themselves. Those are the real high value men. The men who think and feel highly about themselves. And they try their best to live accordingly. It has nothing to do with the superficial bullshit you heard from Kevin Samuels. And a lot of you guys are learning that the hard way. And a lot of you guys already knew that shit was bullshit, because a lot of you brothers are six-figure earners. And you're eating crow from a divorce. You was eating crow when you was in a relationship. The money didn't even matter to you at some point. The relationship was so bad, you didn't even care about how much money you were making. You didn't care. You didn't see where it was going. You didn't know where it was going. You didn't even care. You was living on autopilot. And y'all correct me if I'm wrong. This is why I was always passionate against that shit. Because it was misleading brothers. And as we can see, and since the high value man narrative has been popular, you've been seeing high value men get railroaded. High value men get drugged in the media. That woman almost killed Dr. Dre. Do y'all remember? He ended up in a hospital. Almost killed that man. But we running around here believing some bullshit like a high value man narrative. Because that narrative is based around the bullshit that we've been taught for all these years, that is cheaper to keep her. That's that old sap sucker bullshit that has led black men and other men to dying in bars, getting drunk their whole life, dying in nursing homes. Because they was fed that bullshit, it's cheaper to keep her. Well, at least I still got my money. You know, them old niggas, that's all they ever cared. I got my money. I got my money. But that's all you got. You don't have no sanity. You don't have no friends. I's got my money. See, it's our responsibility as the millennial generation to not end up like that. This is why I tell brothers, it's about the internal and the external. But at the end of the day, it always comes back to the internal. That's what it always comes back to. You see? All that is cheaper if you keep her shit. That keeps the bars packed with men. drinking themselves to death. That keeps men buying a bunch of goddamn cigarettes. That keeps men in the strip clubs and trying to find an outlet because it's just cheaper to keep her. So now you just doing shit to cope because you don't even want to be there. You don't want to be there. But all you worried about is your external means. This is why you hear me say we got to heal, brothers. We got to heal before we build. Because as a group of men, we have a problem with constantly neglecting us internally. See, we've been taught to do this. We've been told to do it, and we've been taught. Because growing up, we've saw men feelings, thoughts, desires, and all of that shit get thrown out the window and get replaced with somebody else's. You see? We was raised to not give a fuck about ourselves. So this is why we think that if we prove we could be everything to everybody else, that gives us some relevancy. And it doesn't. It doesn't. Shout out to Ty's Craziest. I appreciate you, love. Appreciate the super sticker. You see? Shout out to Brother Ray. He says, so does being lonely as fuck. Of course. Of course. Of course. But being lonely and being alone is two different things. And some brothers feel like they're going to be lonely if they don't stay. No, you're not going to be lonely. You're going to be alone, brother. See, it's a difference. And this is what a lot of men are afraid to be. They're afraid to be alone. A lot of men have this issue. And I'm not saying you, Brother Ray. I'm just responding to what you said. But a lot of brothers don't know how to be alone. We need to practice this. How to be alone. How to get used to being around ourselves. See, I know how to be alone. Why? Because I'm the only child. I'm the only child. My mother, I'm the only child from my mother. I'm the only child from my father. You see? So I know how to be alone. I had to learn. But I know a lot of other guys, it's difficult. And then some guys has been in relationships. You know, a lot of guys are what do you call them? Habitual relationship guys. Where they constantly in relationships. Constantly in relationships. Shout out to my brother, the Book of Rona. He said, keep cooking, bro. Salute. Salute to my brother, Po Boy Films in the building. So a lot of guys from the time they were teenagers and the first time they start having sex, because a lot of us start in our teenage years for the most part. Even the late bloomers, a lot of us start, a lot of us guys start in our teenage years. So what usually happens is for the most part, the first time we lose our virginity is to a girl we're in a relationship with. You see? So it starts from there, then to your next girl, then to your next girl, then to your next. See, some guys, that's their course in life up until they have a baby mother. And how do I notice? A lot of my homies went that route, where they never had time to really be alone, really had time to not be in a relationship and not worry about nobody else. Just focus on them. Just be alone. Just chill. See, for a lot of us, we don't get that chance until we 35, 40. This is why a lot of guys don't start finding themselves until that age, because they never had time to just be to themselves. They've never had that time. Shout out to Ty's Craziest. Appreciate you, love, for doubling up. She said, please like, share, and donate for this great content. Appreciate you. Appreciate the double up. Yes, like and share the show. A lot of us just never had that time. And brothers, we need to take that time. That's when we can start discovering who we are, what's wrong with us, what happened. Because we need to go through a lot of this shit on our own. We don't need to go through it in relationships. We don't need to be assessing our traumas and all of that type of shit in relationships, because it's going to fracture the relationship. It's going to fracture the communication. And see, a lot of us guys, we ignore that. We ignore it in a relationship. Once the communication is fractured, we ignore it. We think we just gonna get over it. And then we look up, it's 10 years later, and shit is still the same. Nothing has changed. Only thing that's changed is you. Because you feel worse about yourself. And this is the problem. This is why it's not cheaper to keep her. Fuck the money. I hear a lot of dudes love calling themselves hustlers. I'm a hustler. I'm a hustler. I know how to get money. Then fuck the money. Give her the money and go get some more. Because you only got one life, bro. You only got one life. Why allow it to be torturous? Because you want to keep some money? Some shit that they're going to use to bury your ass? You rather stay in a torturous marriage or relationship for some shit that they're going to use to throw dirt on you. Because remember, that dirt that they throw in your face, that's not free. Whether they putting dirt in your face or pushing you in the oven, none of it is free. They're going to use that same money that you trying to hold on to for dear life. You stayed in a 10-year marriage to keep your money. And you wonder why you don't get along with nobody? You wondering why? Because you sitting back and you suffering. You suffering. You suffering. And I know a lot of y'all thinking, well, if I didn't have my money, imagine how much more I'll be suffering. You know why a lot of y'all want to keep y'all money? Y'all want to keep y'all money so y'all can go and pay for a Band-Aid. That's what y'all want to go do. You want to keep your money so you could go pay for a Band-Aid. That's what you want to do. You don't want to heal. You just want a Band-Aid. That's all you want. And this is the problem. For too long, men have used their education, men has used their profession, men have used their leisure, mobility, and wealth as a Band-Aid. As a Band-Aid for everything that happens to them traumatically in their fucking lives. This is why now, more than ever, men are killing themselves. Men are on drugs. It is because we're using the external means of life to identify who we are as men. And that shit is eroding us. You see? Do you see? What always destroys the integrity of men? The love of money, the love of fame and prestige. That's what usually destroys unity amongst men. The external means of life. Because once a man gets caught there, he neglects the internal things. Those are the most important things. The respect, the brotherhood, the love, the camaraderie. See, when you get caught up in all that external shit, the real stuff gets put on the back burner. You see? And this is the same thing that happens in relationships, in intimate relationships with us, brothers. You got so much money, you ignore the disrespect. You ignore the disrespect. You ignore it. Oh, that's just my wife. She's just kidding. This is what happens. Oh yeah, my wife, she's just feisty that like that. You know. Oh, be quiet, babe. We're going to Cancun next week. Band-Aids. That's why you want to keep your money. Because if half y'all didn't have the money that you had in these messed up relationships, you'd have been shot yourself in the goddamn head. And some of you were doing it now, even with the money. Which I find to be an extreme problem. These are some of the real problems that men are going through, that men needs to be addressing. See, if we're going to get up here and talk about relationships and how bad they are and what's going on in them, well, let's speak about what is happening to the men and why it's happening to them. You see? And one of the main reasons is because a lot of us was taught the bullshit. It's cheaper to keep her when it's not. It's more expensive to keep her because it's going to weigh more on your mind. You're going to have more headaches. Yeah, you're going to keep your money, but the headaches are not going to stop. The arguing is not going to stop. None of the bullshit is going to stop. You're just going to keep your money. And over time, you're going to drink yourself to death. You're going to argue yourself into a goddamn stroke. You're going to scream your way and be frustrated till you get a goddamn heart attack. Because it's cheaper to keep her. No, the hell it's not. See, Shaq, he understood that. You know what Shaq did? He cashed Shawnee little ass out. That's what he did. He cashed her out. He cashed her out. Because he understood that it wasn't cheaper to keep her. Because he realized if he stayed, it would only get worse. When you stay, the tab gets bigger. And maybe not your financial tab, but your emotional tab. You start losing patience all of a sudden. You notice after 5 years of being married or 5 years in this relationship, you don't have any patience no more. You're very snappy. You're very snobbish. You always mad. You used to be an even keel guy. Until you start putting up with shit that you usually don't put up with, that you usually don't allow. But because you think you have these worldly accomplishments that you need to save to impress someone else, because that's why a lot of y'all want to hold on to shit too, because you want to hold on to some shit so you can basically boast about it. You don't want nobody to know, well, yo, I was up at this point and then I fell off because of a marriage, because of a messed up long-term relationship. You don't want to say that. That's gonna hurt your ego. So you stay so you could keep pulling up in your big body to appear or to let everyone know, hey, look, I'm still doing good, even though you feel like a piece of shit. Even though you feel like a warm turd, but you still got your bins. You still look like you successful. You winning. How are you winning when you're not happy? How you not winning? How are you winning but you're never smiling? You dudes get up here and brag about having the bag all the time, but you rarely smile. You rarely laugh. You see? So you still running around telling everybody, yeah, I'm married. Yeah, yep. But you're not happy. Because all you keep looking at is how much it'll cost you if you decide to make that move. And you like, man, I can't afford to make this move. You ever thought about what it was costing you spiritually? Hmm? You ever thought about that? You ever thought about it never being an amount or a price on having a peace of mind? Have that ever dawned on you? That that's priceless? You see, brothers, we were taught to use money for all of the other things that we lack. We use money to make it up. So, us having a broken heart, let me go and buy me a nice car and go and attract all of these hoes so I could feel better about myself. I could feel like somebody like me. Let me go buy a bunch of jewelry so I could attract some hoes so I could feel wanted. You see? And see, a lot of y'all stay in relationships for that same reason. You can't be alone. So it'll be worse for you to be alone and to be broke and to not have the money that you once had. So this is why a lot of you guys think it's cheaper to keep her and you stay. But look at Will. Look at Will. Look how free Shaq is since he left Shawnee. Shaq could do whatever the hell he want to do. And he cashed her out. He cashed her out. Look how free Shaq is. Shaq don't never have to worry about shit going on with her again. If it don't got nothing to do with their children, he's not concerned. And all their children are almost grown. Because he understood that it's going to cost him more in the end for staying when I could just cash out. I'd rather have a peace of mind. I'd rather be able to sleep at night. You see? I'd rather be able to come into my house to someone that I actually can get along with. And if I'm not, at least I'm coming into a house where I know I get along with myself. You see, brothers, what we've done and what a lot of us do is we neglect our health. A lot of us see, it's easy to get up here and say, well, if you got money, you could be healthier. That sounds good. But most people who have money never make the choice to invest into their health. You go and invest in everything else. You go invest in stocks. You go invest in crypto. You go invest in real estate. You go invest in OnlyFans. But you don't go and invest in your health. And when I say invest in your health, it's not just, going to get on a diet or going in the gym. You don't invest in being in healthy environments. When you go on vacation, you go where everybody else go. You go where all the niggas go, where some nigga shit gonna go down at. You don't go to no spa retreats. There's retreats all over this place for mental health, for real relaxation. You don't invest in your health. You don't invest in your health. This is why you don't cherish your health when you're in a relationship. You don't think about your sanity. You don't think about your sanity. You don't invest in your sanity. You see? You don't do that. You don't do that. You see? Running with this moniker that is cheaper to keep her is why you're suffering currently. to any brother that's listening right now who's going through something in their relationships. You are staying because you think it's cheaper to keep her. You're staying because you don't want to pay child support. You're staying because you don't want to pay alimony. You're staying because of this. Now ask yourself this. Would you feel better staying and not doing those things? Or would you feel better leaving and you still might not have to do all of those things? See, because a lot of dudes, what a lot of us don't do either is we don't sit down and have the conversation. The first thing you think is, yo, if I decide to leave, she gonna put me on child support. I'm gonna have to pay for this. I'm gonna have to pay. How do you know that? How do you know that? And if you can definitively say that, then guess what? You picked the wrong chick. Because you're supposed to at least be able to sit down and have the conversation and say, yo, this is not working out between us. You and I both know that me and you both are not happy. So listen, let's not make it any difficult for each other. Life is too short. We could still be cool. It's always going to be love and respect. But what are we going to do about the marriage situation, this divorce thing? What are we going to do about the child support thing? What are you thinking about? And then you go from there. You see? Don't always think that it's going to go the way you hear it went for another guy, because it might not go that way for you. Now, if it ultimately goes that way, then it goes that way. Because we know as men, if that's what they want to do, then that's what they're going to do. And it's nothing we could do about it. But I'm letting brothers know today that you being afraid of that, right, should not make you stay there and be tortured. You see? Because guess what? You're going to have to support the children whether you're there or whether you're not there. It's just that simple. And as far as the whole alimony thing, y'all don't never have to go there if y'all come up and have the conversation and come to an agreement that, hey, I'm gonna cash you out this amount of money. This can be done, brothers. This can be done. But a lot of y'all don't even try. Y'all don't even go for it. Because y'all already have in your mind, it's already programmed that it's cheaper to keep it. As soon as the marriage goes south, I'm saying I'm not going nowhere. I can't afford it. I'm gonna just come home, make sure I got my fifth of Remy and my beer, my case of beer every time I come home from work, and I'm gonna just deal with this shit. Cause I'm not giving this woman all my goddamn money. Me just saying that shit sounds painful. And any guy that I've ever heard say that shit was in pain, man. He was dying inside. Because he know he lost all his dignity. He lost his pride. So he like, fuck it. At least I could keep my money. This woman done took every goddamn thing else from me. I done allowed her to take everything else. I can't allow her to take my money too. See, I understand that shit. But let's look at the results, brothers. Because we always talk about we solution-based, right? So we looking at results. What is the results? What is the success rate of the men who decide to stay? Where are the happy stories, the happy ending stories from the men who decided to stay and keep their money? What do their stories sound like? You see, that should tell you whether this is cheaper to keep her shit is going to work for you or not. Because it may work for some, it may not work for others. I don't think it works for anyone because it's not healthy. It is not something, it is not a positive mental affirmation. That is some defeat, that is having a defeatist mentality to say it's cheaper to keep her. That's basically saying you got some shit from the store that you didn't want and you gonna keep it. Even though you don't have no use for it or none of that. You just gonna keep it because it was put in your bag. And this is what guys have done for years. Even our celebrities, even the guys that we so-called look up to. You'll never hear guys like Jay-Z say it's cheaper to keep them. Because Jay-Z is into fulfillment, fulfilling his purpose. You see? And any man whose quest in life is about fulfillment, you already know that it's not cheaper to keep, it's more expensive. Just look at how much Will Smith has paid over these years being with Jada, staying with Jada. How much Dr. Dre has paid, how much Scottie Pippen has paid. See? And then what about the guys who really believes in this, it's cheaper to keep her, and they go silent? You don't even hear about it. They just pretend to be happy, and you never hear about them ever going through nothing and being unhappy. They become yes men, like Dwayne Wade, like Swiss Beats. These guys have become yes men. Can I take our son to get his nails painted and his toenails painted? Oh, sure. You're going with your mom? Go ahead. Look what happened to Bruce Jenner. He thought it was cheaper to keep Kris Jenner. She wore his ass out to the point where he wanted to be a mother. Now he's Caitlyn. You see what this does to us, brothers? Do you see what it does to us? It's cheaper to keep her. Really? So you need to keep that money that bad. Look at what it has done to Bruce Jenner. He doesn't even want to be a man no more. The whole house used to ignore him. He the only man in the house. Whole house ignoring him. Daughter's ignoring him. Oh, shut up, Dad. Mom, Dad told me no again. Don't you tell that girl no. This is the type of shit that men put up with, and they stay because it's cheaper to keep them. Oh, whatever your mother says. That's what it becomes over time. That's what it becomes. Swiss Beats, letting his son go get his toenails painted. It's cheaper to keep them, right? At the expense of your ass. It is at the expense of your ass. Remember that. It's cheaper to keep them, but at whose expense? Yours. Yours. So, Will, if by some chance, you hear this, my broke ass is telling you it's not cheaper to keep them, man. And you know it. You know it. Because look at how much it has just costed you. You had to apologize. Who knows what else you're going to have to do? Because now it's costing you your dignity in front of the world. Now it's costing you your appearance value. Will, by you doing that on national TV, that affected your appearance. Will. So now, not only has she helped you lose your confidence, your self-esteem, now you're starting to destroy your public image, your public reputation. All because it's cheaper to keep her? All because you don't want to go through the divorce and go through all of that shit? All because of that? Look at what it's doing to your life, Will. Look at how it's eroding other parts of your life. This is what happens when you live an external existence, man. When it becomes all about your mobility, your education, your profession, your leisure and wealth. Your mental health erodes, your physical health erodes. You lose your family. You lose your relevance and your authority in your family. Your appearance gets affected by it. And you lose yourself totally. Spiritually, you lose yourself totally. What you did when you slapped Chris Rock, Will Smith, that was an example of you losing yourself. You're beginning to lose yourself. Or if you already have been losing yourself, now the world knows. Just like the world knows about Kanye. Don't let her destroy you, man. Don't let that evil, wicked spirit destroy you. It's not cheaper to keep a will. It's not. Stop thinking about your money, bro. You a genius. But if you stay, you're going to sabotage everything that you ever built. It's going to be in question. That's what she's trying to do. She's trying to destroy your legacy and take it from you. This is what the Jezebel spirit does. And when you realize that you've been interacting with that spirit, you have to leave, Will. Let her keep the fucking money. See, because Will, let me explain something to you. See, with the Jezebel, Will, they don't care about the money. Jezebel wants full control of your life, like Jada has had full control of your life. Like how she's had it. And now the world can see that she's had you by the balls for a long time. You gotta go, Will. Gotta go. That spirit will destroy you, my brother. And this is why it's not cheaper to keep her. Let her go. Let her take whatever she got, whatever they want to give her. Let her take it and let her use that shit to destroy herself. Let her use it to destroy herself. Like Ginger from Casino. Remember Ace? Ace was a cool guy. Shout out to everybody in the building. I'm getting ready to wrap the show up. Salute to everybody that's here. Shout out to y'all. Make sure y'all like and share the show. But remember, shout out to Joel Benjamin in the building. Salute. Alonzo Hall. Salute, my brother. Hey, Cutie Pie. What's going on? And do y'all remember in the movie Casino, Ace Rothstein, he had a girl. He met her. Her name was Ginger. Ginger was consumed with the Jezebel spirit. And Ace, he felt that his external means could make her move away from that energy. See, this is what a lot of guys think, who has the means to do things. So you see a wicked woman and you think that if you provide paradise for this demon, that it's supposed to change into something else. You see? This is what Scarface, Tony Montana, thought about his girl. This is what he thought. Until they had that conversation one day when he was in the jacuzzi watching TV. And he told her, "What are you doing? You just sit around all day and put that shit up your nose. This is what I pay you to do? You can't even have my kids." You see? You can't even have my kids. You see? And what happened to her? What happened to Ginger? When Ace left her, and she got all the things that she got, what happened? They found her dead in a hotel lobby. She OD'd. See? You gotta leave, fellas. You gotta leave. It is not cheaper to keep her because it's going to be at the expense of your life. Because she's gonna go where she's gonna go. If you want to stay on the highway to hell, that's on you. But it is not cheaper to keep her. It is not. Why do you think OJ left? Because you know they say Chloe is his daughter. It's not cheaper to keep her. It's not. It's never cheaper to keep her. And y'all know this because y'all say this to yourselves, fellas. Y'all say it to yourselves. Man, I should have been left her. This her crazy ass. Why am I still here? Why did I stay with her crazy ass? Now I got 2, 3 kids by her. Now I got to deal with her. Cut your losses. Cut your losses. See, that's what real hustlers understand. You want to say you a hustler, you get money, get your money. Then know how to cut your losses. Shout out to Letitia. Appreciate you, love. She said, preach, sheep. Appreciate you. You see? Cut your losses. Sometimes that's what you got to do. Sometimes you just got to get rid of shit. Shout out to Toya. She said, love to taste the cold hard facts in the afternoon. Much love to you, Toya. Shout out to you, to the tutor. You know, when you out there and you hustling, sometimes you just got to get rid of shit. You got to just get rid of it. Just got to get rid of it. You see? Sometimes you got to get rid of shit because sometimes you got too much. So you start giving it away for the low. Got to give it away. And that's what you have. That's how you have to look at certain things and certain people who serve you no good in your life, who has just sat around and took up space and time in your goddamn life. Write them off. Give her away for the low. This that low grade. Here. Here. This that low grade. This that OG. Take that. It's that bullshit. Here. Here. Sitting around with a bunch of this bullshit. Here. Take it. $5. Here. I got too much of this shit. Here. That's how you got to start looking at people. See? See, this ties into having foresight and also problem solving. See? Stop thinking you just got to solve all the problems for her. Problem solving is also for you. You got to solve your own problems in your own life. Problem solving is just not for you to go and solve her problems because you her man. What about you solving the problems for yourself? What about that part? A lot of brothers forget about that because we forget about ourselves because we was taught to neglect ourselves. This is why you think to keep somebody in your life that's not worthy of being in your life is cool. Because you just want to make sure you get to bust that little nut. Because you don't want to feel lonely. Because you need that little cuff at night. But what is that costing you internally? What is it costing you? Think about that. Think about that. Before you say to yourself, it's cheaper to keep her. Think about what it's going to cost you in the long run, internally. Don't look at your checkbook. Take inventory of how you feel about yourself. And what matters more nowadays? What is actually going to keep you alive? Nowadays, is money keeping people alive longer or is it helping people die faster? What do you see? What do you see money doing for most men today? It's not helping them live longer. It's helping them die quicker. Because some of you niggas get some money and lose your mind. Just like some of you niggas get a woman and lose your money. And then some of you get with a woman and lose your money and your mind. Because you think life stops with her. After her, there'll be no other. After one marriage, I should never be married again. Brothers, you got to stop being willing slaves, man. You're being a willing slave. It is not cheaper to keep her. Unless you want to continue to be a prisoner of your own choices. And just know there's no one else to blame but you. Because you decided to keep her. See? So shout out to everybody. Salute to everyone that's in the building. I appreciate y'all for tuning in to today's show. If you enjoyed today's show, the Cash App is going across the screen. Cash App $ Sheep Stay Sleep TV. Cash App $ Sheep Stay Sleep TV is where you guys can go to donate to the show. Shout out to everyone who has donated. If you hit the Cash App, if you hit the Super Chat, I appreciate it. Make sure on the way out, y'all hit that like button. Hit that like button and share the show. And if you haven't yet, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I drop some new content right here on Sheep Stay Sleep TV. Shout out to all of the visionaries. I appreciate everyone for coming through today. Shout out to everyone in the chat room. Much love to everyone. Much love, much love. Shout out to the ladies for always holding down the chat. I appreciate y'all. DS1 Ross, Sheep Stay Sleep TV. And remember, brothers, we are our own agency. We are our own agency. It is not cheaper to keep her. Peace.